What's up, guys? Doing another live build, rear end setups, because I already got the cars to this point. So just doing a short run of them today, trying to clear out a bin here. So got a bunch of my parts here. I'm gonna start pulling this stuff out. Let's see, turn it just a little bit so that you guys can kind of see. Hopefully you guys having a good day. But getting all the parts out of the bin, we need the bins for some other builds, and we can't sell these cars if they're sitting here in the bin unbuilt. So we're changing that right now. Grabbing my parts out of here. You come on, say what's up so I know you're there, because sometimes the screen doesn't show me if anybody's on. Sometimes, like right now, it just says 0, but I know that that's bogus because we get lots and lots of views. So we're gonna start out going through this stuff, axles, putting the gear on them. I'm actually gonna change this rim and tire size that was in this kit because we have updated that. So let's see, but these are kind of a special setup because they get a axle retainer boss on them, so not as straightforward as our other ones. So yeah, if you come on, say hi, feel free to ask some questions. If I'm looking at the screen, I will say what's up. We're gonna go through, put some axles into crown gears right now. So on my particular press in here, I don't have a stop setup on it, so I use calipers and I go to a proven dimension. All of our presses that are out in the Viper room or in the Viper shop, those ones we have preset so that you don't have to even think about it. You just press it on, and when it stops, it stops. So a lot better setup. Also too, if the video is inverse, that is because we're live, and in order for me to watch and see the comments, I have to have the screen flipped. So that's why you probably can't read my shirt, but hopefully my face doesn't look backwards. It is symmetrical, so I promise you're not missing much. But yeah, what kind of summer plans does everybody have? We are gonna just continue to build and develop new products, but we also are restocking on a bunch of stuff so that we can, some of our cars and stuff, we build those to order, and sometimes when you guys order them, that exact moment, we might not have any in the bin, and it causes disruption to our fulfillment flow. And so we're changing that by updating our stock so you can only order exactly what's on the site. Most of our parts are like that already, but with cars, we typically just have an arbitrary number of cars in stock, but we are changing that because we need to be able to increase our efficiency. So that's part of why John and I are both working on car builds right now so that we can update the stock numbers. I got Bridger and Kenyon also working on filling our bins full of parts, so it's full force right now. What time is it? 1:30. Let me see if I can do a refresh and get, I don't know if it'll refresh, but it's not showing me any comments, guys. So if you've commented, I do apologize for not responding. Looks like we got pretty decent amount of people on right now though, so pretty cool. Hopefully you guys can hear me good. I usually keep my door closed too when I go live, but we're doing this stuff pretty raw, so if someone comes in and needs something, you guys are gonna be along for the ride. Okay, so that half is done. Next up is going to be the axle retainer boss, which is a little tiny part that's kind of a pain in the butt to get out of here. Probably need to start putting those in a parts tube or a bag just so that they're easier to get out of here. Yeah, we've been mega busy, guys. I know everybody always says that they're busy. We usually are always busy, but on top of the normal busyness, we have been moving people out into the new space and getting that stuff all set up. So it's been a lot of work. Super wild. But yeah, right now we're pressing the axle retainer boss on. So that controls gear mesh on the opposite side of the chassis from the gear. So if you want to see what that looks like, this one has one. It's right over here on this side, and you can see it doesn't allow the axle, I mean it allows it to move back and forth just a little bit, but what it does is it doesn't put any pressure on the pinion gear. So when the car is turning, the rear axle is trying to push in that same direction, and it's actually keeping the gear mesh consistent through there and letting the axle do its own thing. Unlike this setup where if I move this side to side, it is pushing the armature left and right. So we do use the T-Boss, not usually on race cars. It's typically only on standard stuff. Or if you're building a rear end setup that you want to go into you know, a stock car like a Tyco or something like that where you don't know what the spacing is and you want to just space it off the pinion, that works fine for that. But for cars like this car that have a lot of speed and a lot of side load, we definitely put all of that into the chassis. So just getting it to our known number. So I have a measurement that I measure from the outside of the spacer to the retainer boss, and that is my target. So it's usually 504. So I usually go a little over on this one, and then I use my other press, or sorry, I use my other puller setup, which I'll show you in just a second. So I use this one to set the mesh. Oops. Or sorry, not to set the mesh, to set it to the desired number. Kind of tricky when you get it within a couple of thousandths, but I pull it and then I can also measure it as I push it around to get to the right number. And then I usually will have a chassis out like this one that I put the rear end in so that I can spin it and check to make sure that it's not too tight. So this one, it's still free, but I would say it's a smidge too tight. So I will put it back into the press and I'll just barely breathe on it, and that will give us the play that we want. Check it again with the calipers. 504. Pop it in the chassis and give it a spin. So this is with no bearings, just in the chassis. So pretty damn good. that one's ready to go. So we'll just continue on. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Let's go next one. So to install those bushings or the bosses, I've machined the inside of this so that it sits inside of their flush, and then I can screw it on. So otherwise it's a total pain in the butt to try to get that thing on there. But I do it this way. Might be something that we make down the road as far as an arbor goes for guys to use, but for now, that's what we're using. You could easily make something like that, or just press it on flat like you would without having something like that. Okay, 502, 502 and a half, 504 and a half. Okay, so that's half thou over my last one. Still perfect. So that one's done. Actually, since I got two done, what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to install one in a car. Make sure that I can pull the pins on that thing. I'm going to put one in a car and oil this thing up, and then I'm going to put it up on the run stand so that it can be running while we're building the rest of these things. I usually put the rear tires on these just so that I don't get any oil on the rear axle in the spots where you would be having the rims go on, but I trust that I am not putting too much oil on there. I also oil the front ends, all that stuff. So this one's ready to go. We're gonna slap it up here, 5 volts. Make sure everything looks good. Okay, so that guy is running. We're gonna do another one real quick here. So the way I have my run stand set up, I have my block hard mounted to the top of the box, and so it actually makes the car sound really, really loud, which is kind of annoying because it's probably really loud for you guys. But if I lift the car up, it's much quieter. But when I put cars on here, I'm looking at how much amp draw they're pulling to just make sure that something, if it's unhappy, I can see it right away. But these guys feel like they just might have a little bit too much shim on them, which keep going. See how it ends up sounding. That might end up being too loud having those on there right now. You guys probably can't even hear them anymore. We're gonna keep going, putting these axles together. I'm gonna check this one. make sure that my shims are the correct size. 27 thou, the right size for these ones. If you guys haven't heard, this week is race week, so our Slot Car Drag Racing League, SCDRL, is racing this week. So our videos for that will be posted on Friday. So we definitely encourage you guys to check that stuff out. Super fun group. Lots of fun on there. That you can find that on YouTube, but we've been a little bit slow on content lately just because we have been absolutely running flat out getting stuff situated in the new Viper room, like I said. So huge upgrade for them, but we built the tables, we built everything here in-house, the workbenches, workstations, all that stuff we did in-house here, so a lot of work, but definitely worth it. They definitely appreciate it, so pretty cool. Kind of bummed I can't see the comments, guys, so I'll have to come back after I publish the video and respond to any comments that you guys have left. We are gonna try changing up our spacing real quick and see if that makes it sound happier. So normally we go 27, we're gonna go 25. 2000s, which is thinner than paper. I'm going to get this set correctly. Okay, that's good. Definitely freer. Okay, so I definitely like that better. So we're gonna adjust those ones. We will do this 25 thousandths is what our spec's gonna be on this one. And I just gotta make sure that I update that in the system, but let's get this guy oiled up. I love the pink front wheels on this one. Cool stuff. Sounds way better too, so that is good. These spacers. So that's the difference right there is 2/1000 of an inch, which is very, very minimal. And that's just what they want though. So that's what they want. That's what they get. Refill my shims. But we got enough in here to do 2 more. Okay. All right, that one is good to go. So these cars do have pinned rear axles, and one thing you want to make sure of when you pin a rear axle is that if there's any material from the drill, any plastic in there, you don't want to push that plastic up into your chassis. You want to make sure you cut that out. So that's a little bit of a note that I'm going to pass along to the fulfillment crew, because they pre-built these cars to the point that I receive them, and then I take them the rest of the way. I just want to make sure that they are doing that stuff correctly. That one sounds like it's just way too tight, so we gotta check that one. That's weird. I use the same stuff. I'm live on Facebook. What's up?
I'm good. I'm just gonna go to lunch.
Okay, I don't care. You can go without telling me. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that one, what happened on that one is somehow a 10 thou shim snuck its way into the 5 thou bucket. So that's why that one was too stiff. So what we're gonna do here, we'll put the correct one on. We are going to have to adjust our spacing on the boss, because it'll be too loose now because we just dropped 5 thou back out of it. We'll see where we're at. 504. So that definitely was why that one went loud. Should be nice and happy now, which it is. So that's fantastic. So we're gonna head to lunch also. Ginger just reminded me that it's 1:50. I probably should eat lunch, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned a thing or 2 or 3. But if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. I'll jump in there and respond to anything that I can, because for some reason I can't see any of them right now. But you guys take it easy. We'll see you on the next.